get our link all shared, then we can have a discussion. Let me get it in my group. Groups. There we go. All right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome. It is 10 a.m. where I am, Eastern Standard Time. So we are going to get started this morning. My name is Beth Gaff, and I am the Systems Manager, Technology Trainer, and Robotics Instructor here at the Peabody Public Library. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. And if you notice, we're on a Friday today. Due to some changes that have happened here at the library, we will no longer be having these on Saturday, but we'll be having them on Friday morning instead. And you do not have to be here to participate. It is something you can tune into later. But I just wanted to let you know about that change. Also, if you're local to me, I'll be offering the Tech Talk Live in person, actually Tech Talk in person, here at the library today at 3:30 p.m. So you are more than welcome to come in and bring your devices and any kind of questions that you may have that involve technology. So on our Tech Talk Lives, typically this is designed for you. Let me get in there. Oops. I'm just going to turn my volume down. Okay. So these are designed for you. So any kind of comments that you have, you can leave in the chat. And I do check these so I can assist you the best way that I can. You can also reach me here at the library at the phone number that I've listed here for you as well. Or perhaps maybe you like email better. And if you do, there's my email. So you can reach out to me in several different ways to let me know that you need some kind of assistance or there's some kind of a question that you have. So normally the way it works is for the first 20 minutes or so, if I don't have any questions and nobody tunes in, then I just kind of ramble and I talk about different kinds of things that involve technology and some things that have come up this week alone that I thought might be beneficial to everyone. First off is accounting. How can you create yourself some easy accounting so you can start doing your own finances, start doing your own checkbook balances, keeping track of expenses, things along those lines. So that was one thing that I got a question about this week, and I was able to help somebody set up some accounting and financing. Another question that I had this week that I actually, or within the past month, that I actually made a class about. So let me see if I can find that class. And I can share it in our... I gotta find it, sorry. Things are just not as easy as they usually are here. Here we go. So I will share this in our class today. But this class was all about how to purchase or when and how you go about purchasing a computer. So I'm going to add that into our chat as well. And that link will take you to that class. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about buying devices or computers, then that class would be for you. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about both of those today. One way that you can get yourself organized when it comes to accounting purposes is there are several different ways, actually. One of the best ways that I like is using Excel. Excel is definitely one that is a lot broader, so we're able to use that for various functions and different kinds of needs that we may have. So let me see if I can pull up what I'm talking about, and I'll flip us around and show you. I'm actually going to show you two different ones. There we go. Not only can you use Excel, but you can also use OpenOffice that has sheets, which is basically the same thing. So I'm going to flip us around. So by using Excel, and that's what this is, I'm able to organize myself. So let's say that I run a bed and breakfast and I have several locations for that. Then I can set those up where I have my contact person, my reservation date, the amount they owe, the deposit date, the amount they owed, a person to cover, and the hours reserved. So if I have that, I can do this by month. So each one of these is a different month. And I really enjoy color coding things because it makes it easier for me to know what month I'm in. But whatever works best for you is how you should do that. And then once I get to the end, I can have a totals page. I haven't set up my totals page yet, but if I did, it could look something like this, where I can take these numbers that I have in these different months and feed them into one location. So you can also keep track of your own expenses. I have a friend of mine that I'm helping out with his expenses, and I've done this also color coded. I like color coding things, but I was able to go in here and create this where I can put the date of what the expense was, what was the expense, how much did I spend, and then I can have a totals at the bottom that totals all that. So let me go back to January. Actually, let's go in here. Let me go back up to January. So here I may go ahead and add totals. Oh, well, if I can type, I will. So here I may have here we go. I'm having a problem spelling this morning. I apologize. So here I may have totals. I can glorify that a little bit, and if I want to make it bolded, I can, so it's a little bit brighter. But here I might put in, okay, so in January, my expenses, on January 16th, I had $10 in food. I had $25 in gas. I had no supplies. Postage, I spent $2 on postage, and I'm going to show you how I can convert these into currency, which is money. So in utilities, maybe I spent $40 in utilities, and then I might want a miscellaneous area to put in another category that isn't there. So what I can do here is, first off, I am going to insert another row. And I'm going to cut this out and put it, no, I'm going to leave it there. Never mind. Okay. So let's say that I have, now I can always add more rows to my month just by highlighting the areas that I want a new column in. And then I can just right click on that and they have an insert. And now I can insert that many. So let's say I have another expense. And it was on the 20th. It wasn't food this time, it was supplies. I had an event and I spent $100 on that. Travel, that could be my miles. So by miles, this would not be one I'd want to convert into currency. I would actually want to keep it as a number. So that way I can just total miles. So let's say that I have 42 miles. And up here, I might even say what my mileage rate is. And right now, the mileage rate for the United States, if you are a subcontractor, is 65.5 cents a mile. So I may keep that up there so I can remember what my travel mileage is. Let's say I had a miscellaneous amount that I wasn't anticipating that doesn't qualify in any of these. That was $75. And I might even note over here what that was actually for. And I'm just going to put maintenance. So I may have a note over here that goes with my miscellaneous, which means I could make another category for that. So if I drag that over, I could label this one note. So, and then of course, if I come up between my columns and I double click, it's going to pull it out as far as whatever I have in any of these columns. So maintenance was quite long, so it pulled it out just a little bit farther, but at least I know. I'm going to add one more expense in here just so we've got some good numbers to feed in. And now I might say that on the 30th, I have $10 in food, I have $25 in gas, I have $15 in supplies. I'm going to go back up here to my miles traveled, and I'm going to put 30 there and 15 there. I don't have any postage or utilities, and I don't have any more maintenance. So everything should have something in its category. So from here, I can just drag this column down to my totals. And right up here, I have what's called an auto sum. So here I can just click auto sum. And when I do that, it automatically is going to auto sum my total for me. Now, I said that I was going to show you currency, and I am now. So I am going to highlight the areas that actually involve currency. And from here, I can right click. I can go down to where it says format cells. Hi there, thanks for joining. And now I'm going to go to currency. And I have it set as a 2 decimal. That's a default. And I'm going to click OK. By doing that, it automatically changed all of those values to currency. So I can do the same thing here. So I'm just highlighting. I'm just skipping over my travel because these are... Can you not hear me? Let me see. Well. Checking. Okay. I think I might be set on the wrong sound. No. Microphone. Okay. I think you can hear me now. Means I gotta restart, doesn't it? Story of my life. That's okay. I'm going to go back and just do a little bit of a refresher, go back into our live feed. Thank you for letting me know. So now I know. I've just spent 10 minutes babbling, and let's see, my channel. I'm going to go back to my live. Okay, we're going to leave it there. Okay, so I was told I had no audio, and I found out why. I have audio now. So thank you for letting me know that. So I'm going to go back through some of this because I had no audio. So that was not fun. So what I was talking about was, and let me flip us back around, basically starting over our class now that I'm 14 minutes in. Actually, I am just going to, no, I'm just going to leave it. Welcome to Tech Talk Live. My name is Beth Gaff, and I am the Systems Manager, Technology Trainer, and Robotics Instructor here at the Peabody Public Library. Thank you for letting me know I had no audio, so now we do. Today I want to talk to you about a couple of different things. This is a session just for you, so if you have questions, comments, anything like that, you can leave them in the chat for me, and I will see them so I'm able to answer you. Our Tech Talk Live is moved. We've moved it to a Friday now. We're no longer on Saturday morning. We are now on Friday morning. So if you are normally tuning in on a Saturday, It's okay if you can't make it on a Friday. I do record these, they're recorded, so you'll be able to see it later. I can see that I'm probably going to have to edit this one because for the first 10 minutes there was no audio. But a couple of things I want to talk to you about today, and that is some simple data entry to get some finances and accounting going for yourself. And if there is enough time, since I just spent 10 minutes talking to myself with no audio, then we'll get into buying some devices. So right now I'm just working on, and I'm going to flip us back around. I am using Excel. And I'm working on some simple budgeting. I'm working on some simple accounting and finances that I can do for myself. And right now I have it broke down into months. So January through December. At the end of my months, I have a totals page. That's where all these numbers would feed into. So that way I can go to one place and find all the numbers that I need for all of my items. I am all about color coding things. So you will find that when I do things, it's usually color coded. It helps me remember months. Right now we're working on an expense page. So on the expense page, you can actually enter in some simple data. This is from January. I can have some simple categories listed across the top, and I can add to this as needed. Even though there was no audio in the beginning of the class, you still got a visual of what I was talking about and how we set this up. So currently, travel is going to be my miles, so I would not want to change that to a dollar amount. This is just a reminder to tell me what the current rate is for people that have that work by themselves. And so right now, the United States rate is 65.5 cents per mile. So these items here, I would want to change to currency. I'm just highlighting those, right-clicking, coming down to Format Cells, Currency, and clicking OK. Now, by doing that, it automatically converts it for me. And now I can auto sum, which is up here. Just highlighting my area, and I need to make this currency as well. So again, I'm just going down to that Format Cells. I'm going to Currency, and I'm clicking OK. So it switches me to currency. So right now I am just putting in my numbers, and I can do that by highlighting the area, clicking on Auto Sum, which is up here in the corner, and it automatically converts me. This here is just miles. So again, I'm just clicking that Auto Sum, and it's going to auto sum those miles. Now, when I go to do my actual cost of this, I'm going to need to add this in. So it's going to be whatever's in this box times this amount is how much I have in mileage. So here I might put the cost underneath. So I'm going to insert another row. And this would be my mileage cost. So I can do a mileage total down there. So if you're not familiar with formulas, I will show you, right? We always have to start a formula out with an equals and a parentheses. I want to take this number, my star on my keyboard is my times, and I'm going to times it by this number, close it out with a parenthesis, and hit enter. There's my dollar amount, and that should change as I keep entering in numbers. So if I have 25 miles that I want to claim, then that's where I am with my miles. And I may have done that on the 30th as well. So these are just some dummy numbers to kind of show you how you can start your finances and accounting. We can also feed that information. So let's come in here to our totals page, and we need to decide what categories we're going to use. So let me go back to January. Oops. And I'm going to gather these. I don't really need my note. I'm going to gather these. I'm going to copy those. And I'm going to take them back over to my totals page and paste them in there. Now I just need to come in between and pull these apart so I'm able to read them a little better. So this shows me all of my categories. These are all of my months. And now I can start feeding those numbers in. Now I'm going to try to feed those numbers in from my totals. Okay? So let me get the rest of our totals here. There we go. So I've got all of my totals in there for January, and I can even bring it all the way across this way and make this one another totals line. Actually, okay, cool. And then I can pull them this way too, but really we want to do it by category. So I'm just gonna not have that one in there. So I'm just gonna undo that square. Okay, so to feed these numbers in, I have to start with my totals page. And under food for January, I'm doing an equals parenthesis. And now I have to go back to my expense page. And I'm grabbing this number because that's what it is. And I'm closing it out and clicking enter. Now it looks like I'm gonna have to format these cells to make it currency. So those are my numbers. So as I add, take us back to expenses. So if I add another one in here, let's say, oh, I forgot January 2nd. I can type in, sorry, my typing skills aren't that great here. And I can say, you know what, I did spend $15 on food. Now, one thing I can do here is I can right click on this, copy, and paste it in here, and change my amount. And then it'll automatically do currency. So with all of these, you may want to go ahead and format your cell. Oops. Format your cells to automatically be currency. Oh, they took them out. Hang on. There we go. And now anything I put in any of those squares are going to be considered currency. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Because I already had it, that's why it's changing it back. Okay, but now my number in there should be a 35, and it should no longer be a 20, and it is. So those numbers will get automatically fed, and you're gonna do that with all of your categories in expenses. Sorry about my fan, I get hot quickly. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my expenses, and now I wanna pull my gas expense, okay? So I'm gonna come back into my totals, and this is just for my expenses. So I'm probably gonna just label that up here, expenses. And now it has it here, and you know me and about my color coding, so I'm gonna go ahead and color code that. But now I can feed in my gas for January. So again, I'm gonna start with an equals and a parenthesis, and I'm gonna go back and collect that gas, which is that number there. And if I continue to add to it, all right, so I am gonna make all of this currency. Let's try it again. we go. And all of this would be currency also. So if I get myself all set up ahead of time, then it'll automatically just do it. There we go. So those are my totals, and that would work for any of the months. So if I wanted to add some more, I'm going to insert some more. I can take out this color up here at the top and just do a no fill. And then here I've got totals, and then I've got mileage totals. And then I might want to insert another row there just to separate them. Keep everything consistent by making it a bold. So now I'm working with February expenses. And again, I might want to go ahead and preset myself up here for formatting my cells and making those currency ahead of time. That way when I put numbers in, they'll just automatically be there. So here's my date, and I'm going to put in February 4th. There we go. And I had, I don't know why all this is, let me fix all that. There we go. And I had $10 in food. See how it automatically converted that? I had $30 in gas. I had $10 in supplies. I had 30 miles, so that's not going to convert. I had $5 in postage, and I had $45 in utilities, and I had $60 in miscellaneous. And again, if we remember, I can just drag this over and change this to note. And my miscellaneous note might be taxes. Then again, I'd probably want a category for that, but you get the idea. So I'm going to add another date in here, February 10th, and I don't know why it's not black already. Let's just make them all that way. Okay. I didn't have any food, but I did have gas. And I didn't have any supplies, but I did travel 15 miles. I didn't have any postage, no utilities, no miscellaneous. And now I can just grab these, bring them down in auto sum. And actually I could go ahead and just do that for all of this. And it automatically fills it in. These are the numbers that I'm going to pull to put in my totals. So I need to go back to my totals pages of expenses. And for February, I need to go grab my food. And then as I add to it, and then down here I would have an ultimate totals. Oops. And I'm going to black that. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. But here I'm able to come and do another auto sum, and that's my year-to-date total. So you can see that this can get quite tedious, but at the same time, once you get it set up, then it's just about setting up your dates. And then, of course, if I have locations that I'm in charge of, then I would probably make this say locations. And I'm going to bold that. And again, I'm going to do it by, oops. I'm going to do it by month, so I'm just going to steal these months. And we'll plop them in here. And then I have different locations, so I can do, start to type those in. Now, when I have one that overlaps like that, I can come up here and click wrap text, and that's going to wrap it right inside. So then I can put all those locations up here. Let's see, Broadwell. And again, that overlaps, so I'm going to want to wrap that text, and it puts it all in there. I'm going to add in mileage total here, because here's probably where I'd put my, let me bold that. This is probably where I would put the actual miles, and then this would be how much I am making, or how much I have coming back to me as far as mileage goes. Our next one is, just going to go ahead and get these set up. Wrap, oops, wrap that text. Father John's. All right, so you kind of get the idea here of how we can set ourselves up with categories, how we can set ourselves up with money, how we can find out what our finances are. Points. We're going to stretch that out. There we go. Because this is mainly just going to be numbers. Murphy. I like that it's automatically doing it. So, and let me stretch this out a little bit more. There we go. And our last one is Wendland 2. Stretch this out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I have all of my location headings up here. I'm going to cut this, put it there instead. I'm going to make this, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So I can make it whatever I want. So here I might make this. Let's go with a purplish color. There we go. All of my months. I'm going to go ahead and make these months that same green. And then they all would feed into each other here like that. So what I would probably want to do on this is in my January, reservation date, contact person. So I need, I'll have to get it from my totals, but I need to know, we're going to insert right here without a fill. Okay. So I'm going to do this as a Mark 1 for one reservation. So my first thing might be, yep, I need to mark that as a 1 because I have a reservation. I'm going to put my name in here. My date reserved. This would be for January, so I'm going to just put in a random date. I owe $250. And again, I'm going to want to make that currency. I've put $100 down. So I'm going to format my cells, make that currency. And I can go ahead and do that with both of these because anything I put in there is going to be currency. Do it again because I keep forgetting that it does that. Format cells, number, currency. The date that I put my deposit down. Now, this is a formula, so I can equal. I'm going to take this number, so I'm doing my equals parenthesis. I'm going to take this number subtracted from this number, and that gives me what I owe. Jim Bob's going to cover it, and they have it reserved from 7 to 2 a.m. Now I could come down here and say, okay, I am marking this as a reservation. Now, over here is where I can pull those reservations in. So this would just be reservations, and then I would probably need another one for all of those headings that are in there. So that's so really all I need is the amount owed or paid. So I could mark that as a amount paid. And now I can put my months in. So that's going to work the same way. So these are my locations. Let me go in and put some more numbers in. Here we had, okay, and they reserved that on, and they owe 500. They put a 250 deposit down. Now this I can copy. Actually, I can just bring it all the way down. And that number will change. So now I can say that Eric will watch it. And they have it from 10 to 4 a.m. This is just for reservations, and these are your numbers that tell you, you know, so if I have it reserved again, and actually I didn't, oh, I haven't put them in yet, that's why. Because we have to put those in totals. So this one might be Chris. We probably need to put a phone number in there at some point. They're reserving it. The Village, 250. They put 150 down, and they did that on this time. Eric will cover, and it's a normal 7 to 2 a.m. Okay. And again, this is all just for January. So we'd put a 1 in there. Now we can start to total. So this one would have a total on it. Amount owed would have a total on it. Deposit. Oops. I went down too far. This probably don't need to worry about. You just want to know how much. But here we can actually put in totals for that month or for that location. So you can start to separate those totals as well. So these would all be, so this one would be a 2. So we don't want to auto sum that yet, because we can just auto sum these down here. Total deposit down, how much they owe. And I can put a line in there like that. And like that. And of course I can go ahead and insert another row. That gives me more separation. So now if I wanted to put some of these in year to date, so these are just the locations. So I need to do equal, parenthesis, go back to my January. I'm just going to grab, so I guess we don't really need this. I'm just going to grab these. Let's go back. Locations equals. Now I can go to January. I'm going to grab this and close it out. That tells me that Auglaize Village had 2. Now, one thing I can do is I can copy this formula. So once I have the formula set up, well, actually it's in here. Once I have this formula set up, then I can just bring it all the way down, and once I get those numbers in, so there we go. Well, that didn't work. October has a number in it. So you may have to work out some kinks, but it is a process. It does take some time. This is all January's locations and the information that goes with that. You can have an expense report that feeds into another place. So I'm going to flip this back around. There we go. All right. So that's a little bit about how you can do some financing and accounting on your own at home. And make it a little bit easier on yourself when it comes to, I don't know where that number came from, January B16. All right, you guys, well, I'm going to be done babbling. Hopefully you got something out of this class today. And any questions that you might have, if you want to learn a little bit more about finances and accounting, just hit me up. So I will see you in the next video. Our next Tech Talk Live is is not going to be happening until August. So we'll be doing another Tech Talk Live in August, and it'll be monthly after that. So thanks so much, you guys. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.